Okay, great. Welcome, welcome. We will find a comfy spot, find a comfy chair here. So ideally a chair without arms kind of works the best. Like a couch, like a cushiony chair doesn't, like an armchair in your living room doesn't really work that great. But you know, whatever, make it work. Have water nearby, maybe a tissue, whatever you need. Sometimes blocks or books or things like that help to kind of bring the floor to you a little bit. And you want to have a chair where you can get your seat bones pointing down and your feet flat on the floor. And then I just want you to all appreciate the fact that you can do what you like and kind of omit or opt out of things that you don't like. So if you find a particular pose or movement challenging or too challenging or like uncomfortable, you can just skip it. Like, we're not hanging out in any particular pose for so long that that you're missing out like half the practice, you know, or anything like that. So do what, you know, listen to your body, listen to that inner teacher. So you have this kind of like gut feeling, this kind of knowing where you might say, you know what, this part just isn't for me. So do what you can. All right. And then feel free to modify in any way that makes sense to you. So we're finding our seat bones, and you can kind of wiggle your seat bones forward and back in your chair to get a place where your feet are flat on the floor and your seat bones are pointing down. So for me, that's pretty close to the edge of the chair. So feet are flat on the floor. And if you're like me, I tend to grip the floor with my toes. See if you can spread the toes wide and set them back down. Kind of, so tension somewhere in the body is tension everywhere in the body. So we want to kind of loosen up where we can, but create this, you know, we're not flopping. There's still some tension in the core to stabilize, but we're not gripping or holding anywhere in particular. And then we're moving up this tall spine. You know, what's a tall spine for you? So for me, I can kind of fake a tall spine. And then if I encourage my core to kind of support my spinal column, I can actually sit up even taller. So the crown of the head, the very top of the head, like if you were balancing a book on it, would be your highest point. So there's kind of like a positive tension in the core and a loosening or relaxing of the other parts of the body. You can close your eyes or take a soft gaze. So soft gaze is kind of just almost where you're using like your peripheral vision or that kind of feeling instead of just kind of this focused gaze on one particular thing. And then take a moment to check in and see what you're bringing to the chair this morning. So it could be very physical things like, oh, my elbow or my shoulder or my, you know, or my stomach just isn't right. You know, it could be those kinds of physical things that are kind of knocking, hey, pay attention to me. But then, you know, notice maybe some emotional things, some mental things. What's your brain doing right now? Your brain could be saying, hey, when is she going to shut up and start moving, right? It's okay. And then we'll kind of notice the qualities of the breath. Now, does your breath feel kind of shallow? Does it feel deep? Does it feel easy? Excuse me. And then finally, if you want to set an intention for this class or say an affirmation or dedicate this practice to someone else, you can do that now. And you can kind of maybe listen to yourself and see if there's anything that kind of rises to the top as without trying to really like think about what your intention may be. Maybe something just kind of floats to the surface that would be your intention or your affirmation. And you can say that to yourself. Well, heck, you're muted. Say it out loud. All right. And now we're going to start to add breath and movement together. So on your next exhale, you're going to bring the chin down towards the chest. So the spine still stays long, but the chin comes towards the chest. And then on the inhale, the chin will come up and then slightly back. So the back of the neck still stays long. We're not crunching anything. So if any time during this practice something gets crunchy or like, you know, you hit something, you know, back off a little bit. And then we'll bring the chin towards the chest again. So moving with the breath, inhale brings the chin up. Exhale brings the chin down. And then we'll start to get more of the spine involved. So on your next exhale, when you bring the chin towards the chest, you're going to round the spine. So the spine comes towards the chair. So you're concaved here in the front, your pelvis is tipped back. And on the inhale, the pelvis starts to tip forward. Shoulder blades come back towards each other. Chest will rise, chin will rise. And then we'll reverse it. Again, chin to chest, rounding the spine. We'll do just a few more breaths like that. And throughout this whole practice, you know, if something feels good and you want to keep doing it, go for it. If it doesn't feel good and you want to skip it, go for it. And we'll come up again through our tall spine here. Checking again. So this is our seated mountain pose. We press our hands into our thighs, drawing the belly button in slightly. We're pressing down with our hands and we're very tall in the spine. So this is a very active, it looks like you're just sitting there, but it's a very active pose. Okay, we're gonna start some more movement here. We'll bring our left hand out to the left and we're gonna take some wrist rolls as we inhale. So if your inhale stops when your hand is about here, totally fine. Exhale, bring it down. We're gonna do this a bunch of times. So eventually your hand might get higher and higher and higher. If you have some kind of shoulder stuff and you know your highest is here, perfect. It's okay. It's all good. Switching sides, or wrist roll, inhale, arm comes up. If you get all the way to the top and you want to take a hold of the breath and a side bend, you can do that too. And wrist roll right back down. We're going to inhale, sweep both arms up. And again, it's only as high as you can go. Maybe your palms touch, maybe they don't. And then exhale, bring the hands back to the heart center. Back to our wrist roll, hand out to the side. Wrist roll as you inhale and come up. Maybe you hold at the top, continuing with the stretch, and wrist roll right back down. Switching sides. Wrist roll brings your arm up. Maybe you hold. And then we'll inhale, sweep both arms up, get really tall through the spine. You're gonna push the ceiling away. So you're growing up even taller through the spine. And then on the exhale, you're gonna fold all the way forward. Now, if this is uncomfortable, you can take the knees a little bit wide to make room for the chest and belly. Inhale, halfway lift. So this becomes a flat back or more straight back. And then exhale again and fold. Sweep both arms out in front, come all the way up to your seated mountain pose, and exhale, bring the hands to the heart. So here, when our arms are up, my chest is out and my back is a little bit arched. When I bring my hands down towards the chest, I want to shorten the distance between my rib cage and my pelvis. So I'm going to kind of tilt my pelvis back a little bit and engage these muscles here. All right, back to our wrist rolls. So we come out to the side and up. Take a side bend and back down. Switching sides. Some wrist rolls up and over. And back down. My right wrist has got a lot to say. I'm going to sweep both arms up, push the ceiling away, get really tall through the spine, and exhale and fold. Inhale, halfway lift or flat back. Exhale again and fold. Sweep both arms up, come all the way up to a tall spine, and we're going to exhale and twist to the right. So we're turning our torso to the right. Inhale back to center. Twist to the left. Inhale back to center. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart. Kind of doing that little crunch here at the end. Okay, back to your wrist rolls. Switching sides, wrist roll right on up. And wrist roll back down. Inhale, sweep both arms up. Push the ceiling away. Exhale and fold. Inhale, halfway lift or flat back. Exhale, fold. Sweep both arms up. Come all the way up, tall spine. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, center. Now we're going to exhale and we're going to lift the right knee. And then we'll give it a squeeze. You can wrap your fingers around the back of the right thigh or the right shin, or if you have a like a dish towel, sometimes that helps kind of give you some longer arms. You're going to hold that right knee up as close as you can to the chest, and that is comfortable. And we're going to take some ankle rolls. Now, for some people and some people's hips, having your knee out a little bit to the right creates some room here, and it can be a little bit more comfortable and maybe easier to manage. So just because it doesn't look exactly like mine or whatever doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. Switch directions. Before I took my yoga teacher training, I thought everybody had to look the same in a class and you couldn't adapt. And, if you used a prop, it was, you were less than. And now I feel like, who cares? Just enjoy it. Inhale, sweep both arms up. Exhale, left knee comes up, and then we'll give it a squeeze. In my yoga teacher training, I was so blown away by the fact that, if you needed to do child's pose in a vinyasa class and you really didn't want to do, 2 more sun salutations, you can totally do it. I'm like, oh, wow. It's so, empowering. Switch the direction of your ankle roll. Good. And we'll lower that left knee down. Inhale, sweep both arms up. Exhale, bring them down through the heart. Super. Last time through, take some wrist rolls. Last night I did a class with my beloved teacher, Teresa, from my 200-hour teacher training. And it was just her and I, but she was recording it for her Story Yoga Patreon account, and I make sure you switch sides. And then I did the class, and it was a core flow, and I was like, oh my God, my wrists, my biceps, my belly, everything was like, this is not the kind of yoga I've been practicing. So I was so tired. Like a couple times I like stopped and laid down, sweep both arms up, push the ceiling away. And it's just me and the teacher. So it's not like I don't stand out. Exhale and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Sweep both arms up. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, we're going to give the right knee a squeeze briefly, just hug it in towards the chest. And then on the inhale, we're going to extend the right leg. The right foot is flexed. You can have your arms up, excuse me. And then we'll set the right heel down. Right foot is still flexed. And I think you can kind of see my foot. Hands to the left thigh. And if it works for you, hinge forward. So it's kind of, let me see if I turn to the side, if it helps. So this is me up straight, maybe hinge forward slightly. So this will create more pull on the back of the right leg. So if you want more pull, great, hinge forward. If you don't want more pull, sit up tall. So it's kind of like what your hamstrings are saying to you today. It's important to listen. My hamstrings are usually saying, basically. So take just a couple breaths here. And then we'll bring that right heel back. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, bring the left knee in, give it a squeeze briefly. Inhale, extend the left leg. And we'll exhale, lower that left heel down. Left foot is flexed. Your hands can come to your right thigh. Sit up tall and then hinge forward. So it's important to keep the spine long here. We don't get noodly and hang. Use this positive tension of keeping the spine long. I think we're already so tempted to let the head hang. It's important to keep it in line with the spine. And also, for me anyway, I can feel more of a stretch by keeping my spine in line. If I get noodly, I actually just feel it in my low back. And I'm not looking for a low back stretch right now. And then we'll inhale, bring that left heel back, bring the arms up, get up nice and tall, and then exhale, bring the hands to the heart. Okay, we're going to take the knees wide. As wide as you are comfortable, as wide as your pants will allow. And we're going to bring our arms up for goddess arms. So they're cactus arms, you know, if goddess isn't your jam. And we're going to move the right elbow towards the right knee. So standing or sitting up tall, and then exhale, bring the right elbow towards the right knee. And then inhale back up to center. Exhale, left elbow, left knee. And if you're backwards, it's totally fine. There's not really any particular reason why we start on the right versus the left in this particular movement. And then right elbow, right knee. You can even extend the left arm overhead if you want. Come back to center. And then left elbow, left knee. Can extend the right arm if you want. Come back. We're gonna let's do two more options. You can totally just sit if you want on each side. So bring right elbow, right knee, stretch. And then left elbow, left knee, stretch if you want. One more on each side. Last one. and then back to center. And we will keep the knees wide. We'll bring the hands or the fingers and interlace them behind your back if you can. If they don't reach, maybe grab a towel or a sock or whatever you got handy to kind of bridge the gap there. If you can interlace them, great. And we're going to roll the upper arm bones back. Ooh, something was touching me, probably my own hair. I'm a little gun shy with like spiders and stuff in here. Anyway, rolling the shoulders back, the chest opens, and maybe your hands are resting like on your back here, or maybe they start to come away. And we're rolling the upper arm bones back in the shoulders. So let me show you quickly here. So there's this option where their shoulders are kind of coming forward. We want to pull them back like that as much as possible. Okay, then we'll release slightly. We'll bring the hands over to the right hand side. So if you can bring both knuckles over to the right, cool. You're kind of just moving in that direction. If you can't get them all the way over, we'll tip the head to the right. Taking just a couple breaths here. And then we'll bring the knuckles over to the left. Same thing, tilt your head to the left. And then we'll come back to center, release, shake the arms out, take some shoulder rolls, whatever feels good to you as kind of like a counter pose for the shoulders. All right, coming to the edge of the chair. So my left knee is moving out to the left and my knee is bent. The right leg, we can actually straighten that leg and you can have your foot flexed. You can have your foot on the floor. You can have your knee kind of more bent, totally up to you. So figure out a way. Most important thing is to be stable in your chair. So if you have a chair that hates you, like my chair hates me, wants to eject me all the time, you know, maybe I want my knee a little bit more bent. So figure it out. Figure out what works for you in your chair. One of these days, I'm going to stop complaining about my chair and just get another one. But, you know, until then, we're going to turn our torso towards our left leg. So we're going to bring our upper body to face in the same direction as our left thigh. And then maybe if you want, if you feel stable, you can bring one hand up. You can bring both arms up. And then notice what your torso is doing, what your trunk of your body is doing. Now, are you splayed out? Are you kind of like arching your low back? If you are, see if you can pull the low belly in a little bit to support this belly here and your back. Take just a couple breaths here. This is kind of our seated warrior one variation. And now we're going to open up so that our upper body faces the screen here, the device, and our hands are out to each side. So we're going to do a extended side angle. So we're going to bend the left arm, place the left forearm on your left knee, and maybe your right arm drifts up above. Maybe it comes all the way up and it's straight. Otherwise, you can also rotate, bring it around in front, palm faces down, creates this long line from the right foot all the way over the right fingertips. Yeah, everybody looks great. Good. And we're breathing in and lengthening this right side of the body. We're not collapsing on the left side. So see that your head is still in line with your spine, not dangling. Oh my God, my head is so heavy. You know, we're still keeping it up. And then we're going to inhale back up to our warrior two position. We can take our right hand now and bring it to your right hip. You can bring it behind your back. You can bring it down your right thigh. You can dangle it in outer space, whatever you want to do, whatever makes you feel supported. I might start with my hand on my hip. We're going to bring the left palm up towards the ceiling. And again, now we're getting long from the hip crease here on the left side, all the way up to the left fingertips, getting super, super tall. And we're not losing, we're not like collapsing here on the right-hand side. We're using both sides of the body, but right now we're just lengthening the left side. If it's comfortable for your head to be looking up towards your hand, great. If it's not comfortable, don't do it. Find somewhere else to look. And then we'll come back into our warrior two variation. We're gonna lower the arms, bring the right leg back in, keeping the knees wide, and just check in momentarily here. See if you notice any changes, any shifts. How does the right side feel? How does the left side feel? And we'll lengthen the left leg now, whatever kind of variation. So whatever you did with your right leg, maybe you want to do that with the left leg. Maybe that doesn't work. So figure out what works for you. So maybe on this side, you feel a little less balanced and you want to have your knee bent so your foot is flat on the floor. All good. All right, we're going to turn our body to face the right thigh. We will then, if we're comfortable, we'll lift one or two arms. If you got 3 arms, lift that one too, you know, whatever you got. And we're facing the right side and we're drawing the core in. So we're supporting our low back with the front of our body core muscles. Again, if you're gripping anywhere, see if you can let go. And now we'll open up to our warrior two position. We're going to take our right forearm, we're going to bend our right arm, we're going to place our right arm on our right thigh, knee-ish area, and the left arm can come right up overhead or rotate out in front so that the palm is facing down. Good. And it's a really long line from the left foot all the way up to the left hand fingertips. And the arm is engaged. You guys are all doing it really, really well. I've seen some people kind of dangle the arm and it's like, what? Or they have this like little ballerina arm. You guys are awesome. Okay, and then come back up to your warrior two position. Again, our left hand can come, you know, anywhere that's comfortable, to your left thigh, to the chair, outer space, behind your back. And the right hand, the palm's gonna flip up towards the ceiling and you're gonna bring it all the way up. So this is reverse warrior. And we're getting really long from the hip crease on the right hand side all the way up to the ceiling. If it's comfortable on your neck, look up. If it's not quite comfortable, maybe bring your gaze forward or down. Taking just another breath or two here. Getting really long through that side and supported in the left side. And then we'll come back up to our warrior two variation. Let the arms come down. Give them a little break. Bring the knees in. Come back to your mountain pose. Check in. See how everything feels. You know, I think it's really important to slow down, check in, especially in between things, between sides. I tend to just rush through everything. So slowing down is a really good habit to create. All right. We are going to turn to the right. So if you can, turn as much to the right as is allowed by your chair. And then we're going to bring the left leg back. So this could be a lunge variation, a crescent lunge variation. I have my heel on my right foot or left foot is off the ground. And I am keeping my core engaged here. So I want to open up through the hip flexors here on the left side. So kind of give that a little stretch. Try not to overdo it. So if you feel any kind of like burning or like, woo, you know, that kind of sensation, we don't want it sensational. We just want to, you know, maybe feel a little something without being overdoing it, because I've overdone it and it's not fun. So keeping our torso up tall. Now you have the option to raise the left arm. You can raise the right arm too if your chair is not trying to kill you. And then we're going to twist to face the back of the chair. This is a twist to the right. Now you can hold on to the back of the chair too. We'll take just like 2-3 breaths here on this side. So inhaling, imagine lengthening your spine. Exhaling, maybe if it works for you, you twist a little deeper, but not at the expense of like cranking yourself around. Just a gentle kind of maybe your core is twisting you, not your arms. And then we'll untwist. Bring that left leg back to meet the right. And then we'll walk both knees over to the left. Okay, come to the edge of the chair if you need to, and we're gonna bring the right leg back. Now, for me, I have overstretched this right side a couple times. So it hurts. So I try to take it a little bit easier. So if you know something like that is what's going on with you, so maybe you don't stretch that, bring that leg as far back. Maybe it's a little bit closer. And then we will support our low back with our tummy muscles, sitting up tall. And then maybe you want to raise one or both arms. Taking a breath here. Inhale, tall. Exhale, twist to the left here. Now you can hold on to the back of the chair if that works. So big inhale makes you sit up tall. Exhale twists you maybe a little bit more, but again, we're not forcing anything. And then we will untwist here. Bring the right leg up to meet the left, and we'll walk the knees back facing forward. Good, let's check in our mountain pose. So for me, that kind of movement is also a big quad stretch, or I can definitely feel it in my quads, my upper thighs here. Okay, so we're pressing down into our thighs and we're engaging the core. So here, we're going to lift the right knee and we're going to circle the right knee. So this is going to be a lot of engagement for your core, your hip flexors. And press down as much as you need to with that hand. The hand that's, I think I said right hand, I think I said right leg. And switch directions of your circle. And then we'll lower that right leg down. Switching over to the left side, press down with your left hand or lift the left knee, and we're going to circle. We'll circle either way. Whew, working up a sweat in here today. Good, and then switch the direction of your circle. Good, and then we'll lower that left knee down. We're going to circle the whole torso here. This kind of, I don't know, releases things a little bit as far as the engagement that you've had in your core, but yet still keeps some engagement. And then we'll switch directions. Then we'll come back to center. So one of the things I noticed while doing a matted floor class yesterday was that my wrists have not been experiencing much pressure. So I haven't been doing any kind of weight bearing exercises on my hands. So we can create our own here. So there's two different ways. Well, I'm sure there's more than that, but two different ways we're going to try. So one of them is to press into, put the heel of your hand down into your chair. And like, frankly, there's not much room after my, around my booty here. So my hands are behind my seat, and I'm pressing down. So you can also get some core engagement here by pressing down with your hands and trying to kind of lift your seat off the chair. May or may not happen. It's all good. But we're creating some pressure here in our wrists. Now, I think taking away all pressure in your wrists is not necessarily helping us at all, because I definitely felt like I was missing that component of weight bearing on the wrists. And then release. Now, shake the wrists out if you want. You can interlace the fingers and figure eight the wrists. The wristises. And then switch direction. Boy, my brain is not working. There. And then shake it out. Okay, another way we can do this is we're going to sweep the arms out wide. I want you to squeeze your shoulder blades together when they're out wide like this, and then bring them all the way up or as high as you can. And maybe it's like this, and then in front, that's fine too. We're pressing our palms together, kind of with as much pressure as you can or feel like. And then when you get to heart center, release, open, squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift up as high as you want or just out in front, totally up to you. And then you're squeezing your hands together. You're pressing the palms together as you lower down. So also too, you can notice that it creates more flexion in the wrists. So maybe I'm coming like this, and then I'm pressing them together. So when I get to here, there's a lot of flexion in the wrists. So if that doesn't work, stay up here, but still press together. Maybe it's somewhere in between, it's whatever works for you. So let's do 3 more of those. Arms are wide, and we're squeezing the shoulder blades together. So we're working on the back body as well. Bring the arms up. Exhale, bring those back to the heart. 2 more. Sweep the arms out, squeeze the shoulder blades together. That's our anti-aging muscles back there. We're like keeping our torso, shoulders back. Bring them back down here. And our last one, I can feel that in my biceps too. I don't know about you guys. Bring them all the way up and then squeeze them down. Good, and then release. Shake your shoulders out, roll them, whatever you want. All right, so we are gonna come to the edge of the chair. Feet are flat on the floor. We're gonna reach out in front. And so you have the option to eventually stand, or you hover if you can above the chair. So maybe you have to lean way forward and just maybe lift the seat just a little bit. And it's kind of like rocking a little bit, which you want to try to use as little momentum as possible. I mean, use as much momentum as you need, but try not to. Okay. And then, so what we'll do is maybe we come all the way up to stand. We're going to shift our weight to our right leg and have your chair close by so you can grab it if you need to. We're going to turn the left knee out to the left. So I'm up on the ball of my left foot and my left knee is pointing out to the left. I'm going to move my chair over to the right here. So just in case I don't fall over. So right foot is grounding down The left knee is pointing out to the left. So this is probably the most stable. If you want to add a little bit more balance challenge, you can bring your left foot in closer to the right leg. You can bring the arch of your left foot to your calf on your right leg. You can hold onto the chair the whole time, or if you feel balanced enough, you can release the chair and take any kind of arm variation that you want. So maybe you want to keep your hands to heart, you want to do a mudra, you want to take your arms into goddess and maybe potentially fall over like I just did, or arms over the head. So whichever kind of variation that works for you. There's no right or wrong answer here. And this can also be done seated. The core is strong. The right leg is very strong. Imagine your right foot growing roots going all the way down into the ground beneath you. Inhale creates this tall, tall being. And then exhale, you can lower everything down and march it out. If you're able to, you want to move your chair over to the left-hand side. Or if you're in your chair, we're going to move over to the left-hand side. So now I'm grounding down through my left leg. I'm going to grow roots on that left side. So, and one of the things too that tend to happen is people kind of shoot their hip out to the left. I want to keep it all in line. So my thigh bone is right still in line. It's not kind of off to the side. So pressing down, belly is engaged. I'm going to turn my right foot out to the right. I'm on the ball of my foot. I can stay here. I can bring it in. I can bring it up. And we're getting tall through the spine again. Taking whatever arm variation that you need or want. And ain't nobody here symmetrical anywhere. Ah, see, I just fell over. So you might not benefit from doing the same pose on each side. You might do it slightly different. And that's totally cool. Concentrating on that left foot grounding down into the earth beneath you. Might have to go through a floor or two. And up really tall on the inhale. Exhale, lower it down, bring the arms down, shake them out, march it out, whatever you need. And then we're gonna set the chair back up. If you moved it like I did. And then we're gonna come around in front of the chair. So I have several options. You can take whatever variation that you want. You can sit down, squeeze your glutes. So you're just gonna sit down, squeeze your glutes for a while. It's not, I say just, but it's intense. Another variation is to have the feet and the legs together, really tight. So this is kind of a balance challenge as well. You can have the knees hip width apart or the feet hip width apart. You can take a goddess variation, knees and toes pointing in all variations. The knees and toes are pointed in the same direction. So take whatever one that you want. And we're right in front of our chair. We're going to send the seat back towards the chair. So you're bending the knees. And when you look down at your feet, you should be able to see them. So if your knees are too far forward, that puts a lot of strain on your knees and your ankles and everything. You want to be able to tilt it back. So this is my knees, I can't see them, or my feet, I can't see. This is kind of weird. Now I can see them. So the seat is back, spine is long still. And I have a tendency to like dangle my head. Bring your gaze still out in front. So your drishti or your point of focus is out in front of you. Now it can be slightly down. It doesn't have to be up at the ceiling and crunch your neck, but where gaze is forward. And here is a time that I welcome you to think of something that you're grateful for. Now you could be thinking, oh my God, I would be grateful to be sitting in the chair right now. That's cool. Take a breath or two. Everything is squeezing. Even if your legs are apart, everything is squeezing towards the midline of the body.
Amanda, I'm going to leave right now. My stomach's killing me.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna inhale up tall, exhale, lower all the way down into the seat. All right, shoulders are back. You can take any kind of movements that you want. Take some shoulder rolls. All right, and now I'm gonna come closer. So we'll do our work with our hands, stuff like that. So, all right. We're going to take your palm and face it out towards the camera. And we're gonna take your fingers and pull them gently back. So taking just a breath or two here. We're gonna reach under and grab the thumb and pull gently the thumb back. And then we'll go through each finger. And it's real gentle. It's not, we're not trying to force anything. Maybe your fingers don't move at all. That's okay. And then shake it out. Take some shoulder rolls. And we'll switch sides. So the other palm is facing forward. Sometimes this is enough. I mean, this is a lot of stretch for that arm here. And you can start to pull them back if that works. Reach under for the thumb. And then each finger. Then shake it out. Shoulder rolls. Gosh, my arms get tired doing that one. All right, we are going to do our tapping now with our hands. So we're going to tap the karate chop part of the hand or the pinky finger edge, and I do it in a fist, and we're tapping it together. And keep the shoulders relaxed. Try not to slouch if you can. And I only say that because like slouching is my superpower, and I try to do it all the time. Okay, and then the heels of the hands. This might be tender on some people, so go as gently as you need to. And then the bottoms of the thumbs. This also can be a tender spot. I remember when I first started doing this part of the class, my thumbs, when I would tap them together, it was like shooting pain. It was so bad. It was very, very tender. And now it's like, it's no big deal. It feels good now. Okay, you're gonna take your palm, you're gonna hold it out like you're asking for money. And you're gonna take your fist on your other hand. And if you have rings and stuff with like chunky jewelry, you might wanna turn them around, but we're gonna punch into the palm. And again, trying to keep the shoulders relaxed. Switch. All right, and now we're gonna take the backs of the hands. So you'll have one palm facing up, one palm facing down, and you're gonna tap the back of the hands. And then, you know, get an itchy face, do that too. So I've been feeling kind of like anxious and uninspired. And the last 2 days in a row, I did a yoga nidra class with my teacher, Teresa, and then I did another class yesterday with her. And I feel it's what I needed. I needed to be led and not have to teach. I needed to just be the student. And I feel so much better today. We'll switch. You know, I was surprised because when Teresa came on the class, it was just her and I. And I'm like, did anybody else register? I'm like, we could totally cancel if you want. But she does Story Yoga, the teacher training I took, has a Patreon account. And so if you pay a monthly fee or whatever, a monthly donation, you can take all their classes for free. Well, you know, whatever. And so I did that. And so I was able to take her classes with like no extra charge, which my monthly donation costs about what a yoga class costs. Interlace the fingers. So it was really worth it, and I got a lot out of it. But anyway, so she has to, or she wants to record content for that Patreon. So it's like kind of like Facebook in a way, where you have like a feed, and you know, so everybody that you subscribe to or that you're a Patreon of, and it can be like $1, you know, $1 a month that you're paying for this content. And so she had to make content. So she did our class, even though I was like, no, we can skip it. Okay, you're gonna hold and you're gonna switch all your fingers by one. So it feels weird. And then we're gonna do it again. And I think I switched already. So, all right. So I felt, you know, I could have just easily backed out and just been like, no, you know, it's fine. Let's just talk, or let's just shut it down. But she needed to record a class. So we did it, and I'm so glad we did. Although at one point it started raining and I couldn't hear her anymore because it's a tin roof in here, and it was really, really raining hard. We're gonna take the webbing between the thumb and the forefinger. We're gonna tap, and I look over and she's sitting up, and I was in pranayama laying on my back, and she was sitting up, and I'm like, did she say to sit up? Like, I didn't hear her. I couldn't hear a thing. And then I just laid there and listened. I'm like, well, she's not gonna yell at me if I don't sit up. And then eventually she was just sitting up. I didn't need to, but it's so funny. And then switch. All right, so we're gonna take our beautiful prana-filled hands. So we can probably feel they're a little tingly, little like there's some life flowing through them. We're gonna take our hands, we're gonna place them on a body part or body parts that is challenging to you today. So I actually feel pretty good. I don't know where to put my hands. So maybe let's say my lower back. Usually my lower back needs some love. So you're going to put your hands on those body parts or body part that just have been a little bit needing of some love. You can close your eyes or take a soft gaze, and we're going to focus our attention, our awareness, our appreciation, our energy to that spot or spots. So even if that spot is challenging to you, you know, it still helped you get here probably today. Maybe under some protest, but still. So we send love and appreciation to that spot or spots. And then we're going to slowly remove our hands. And we're just going to take a moment to, again, sit here. Notice how we feel. Notice if there's any changes or shifts between now and the beginning of class. Now, if you set an affirmation or an intention or a dedication of this practice to someone else, maybe call that into your mind. Sometimes I forget from the beginning of class to the end of class, or maybe my intention shifts during class. That's totally okay. Usually I just forget what I said the first time. Been trying hard to remember, but sometimes through practice, we kind of get a little bit more clarity as to what we actually need. And then we'll take our hands and we'll place them over our hearts. And we'll thank ourselves for being here and practicing together this morning. And I thank you so much for practicing with me. May we all feel loved, grateful, and connected. And may we have the strength and courage to overcome any obstacles before us, because you know there's going to be some. From my heart to your heart, peace and namaste. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to stop the recording.